What's good, YouTube? It's Mike, and today we're going to be unboxing my new camera. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so I know it's been a while since I made a video, but there's good reasoning for that. I have been catching up on my editing for photos, weddings, music videos, etc. And now I have a new camera. So before I talk about why I got this camera or what it is, let's just unbox it. So this is the box it came in, and just as full disclosure, I've already opened this, played with it, had time to mess with it, etc. So there's no bubble wrap in here or nothing, it's just the box. But I did put the camera back in here so you can see what comes in it. So let's open it up. Pull this tab here, boom, boom. And I got this from Adorama, and they sent me some type of coupons or whatever. Your standard manuals, all this stuff, throw it out. You don't need it. This camera was on their used section, and they have different ratings. I believe this was rated as a D. I don't remember the rating system, whatever. It was right under new, so this was pretty much an open box item, and it was brand new when I opened it, so it looks brand new. And I got this with the kit lens for less than what a used A6400 body would cost. So I'm that guy that's always getting the deals. You can ask anyone that knows me, and if you know someone like that, I'm that friend. So let's get into it. Okay, so we have the camera, the charger block, the battery, the USB cable, the strap, and the eyepiece. Empty box. First things first, strap. I don't use straps, but it's your standard. It's your standard Sony Alpha strap. If you don't use these, chunk it out. Actually, don't chunk it out. Just save it for later, so if you do sell a camera, you can actually give that away with the camera. As I pointed out before, I use Peak Design, which has a very nice system of locks that you can just click the camera onto your camera bag or to your side, etc. So I highly suggest you look into that. They don't sponsor me or anything. Sony's not sponsoring me for this. I bought all this stuff with my own money. These are just my personal recommendations. And again, I have a Peak Design review video. Go check that out. Go look at their stuff. You won't regret it, I promise you. Battery, you have your standard NP FW50 battery. They are not that great. They burn out very fast, but I will make a future video on tips of how to get the best battery life out of this camera, because it definitely is possible. Charger block and charger cable. So I highly suggest that you get a wall charger like this one. So this is my Sony NP wall charger. You just pop the battery down and you're good to go. I do think that this charger charges really slow for some reason. I don't know why. I'll usually have one charging in the body and one charging on the wall at the same time if you have multiple batteries, and I have 3 batteries. You have the eyepiece. Now, I usually use my eyepieces, but in this particular case, because it does have a selfie screen and this gets in the way, I will not be using this. Please put this in a safe place. I can't tell you how many times I've bought one of these cameras and somebody threw this out. Do not throw this thing out. This thing costs like 10 to 20 bucks to replace. Just keep it. It will make your time selling your camera a lot easier. And usually they work across different types, so this may fit the A6500 as well. I don't know. Some of them are different though. So USB and charger block, I won't be needing that. I'll just keep it as a backup. Again, eyepiece, won't be needing that. And the battery. So I may have a battery already here. So here goes the camera that we've been waiting for. So I do have a battery in here. All right, so the A6400, what makes this a good camera? It shoots 4K, it does a 6K downsample, 24.2 megapixels, it has a great ISO range, it does real-time IAF, it does real-time tracking, those are some of the new features. It does the time-lapse, etc. Stuff that the A6300 and A6500 cannot do. The one thing this is missing is IBIS. There's no IBIS. As a longtime Sony shooter, I will say Sony IBIS is not that great. And even with this lens on it, I haven't found that it's that great. I've been using the 16mm 1.4 Sigma. I love this lens. You can tell that this lens is way sharper than the kit lens here. And I also have a rig that I bought, so I will be talking about this too. I really think that this is the best setup. Personally, I have not seen anyone do it the same way that I did. So I will definitely be showing that in another video as the best rig option for the A6400. The big selling point of this camera is this. Again, I did a preview video on this camera, and this pop-up screen in person, it's a lot cooler than just seeing it on commercials and advertisements. It actually works pretty good. And it's not really hard to see. There are some bugs that I found with this that I'll also address in another video, and it has to do with the touchscreen when you're doing selfie mode. I also took the little things off the side for the strap because they make noise. But as far as the layout, it's a little bit wider than the A6300. So they made it a little wider for that screen mechanism. It pulls out so you can do pretty much top-down shots a lot easier. And you can do the selfie mode, obviously. As far as the button layout's pretty much the same as like the 6500. There's still no joystick on these things, but there is a way to set up like a joystick with the control dial. A lot of people don't know about that, but I'll also go over that in another video as well. But again, if you're used to one of those cameras, you'll see that this camera handles just like an A63, A6500. Even though the grip is about the same size as the A6300, it does have a better, like softer grip than the 6300, but it's not quite as big as the 6500. But it still fits pretty good in the hands. I have pretty big hands. I don't care about the pinky hanging off. People complain about that too much. I honestly like using my pinky to hold the camera up. If my pinky's not there, it kind of lays down this way, but if I put the pinky there, it's flat. I think it's actually just fine. Again, you have the poppy flash, won't be using that. And again, I got the kit lens, which I'm gonna be selling here shortly. I actually have a buyer for it. I wanted the kit lens only because I thought about using it for vlogging, but it didn't really make too much of a difference when I tried it in real world usage versus the 16mm, only because this doesn't have the IBIS to work together with. So I will be getting rid of this lens, and that'll get me some of my money back. So even better, because I'm thinking I want to get like a 16 to 35 f4 OSS probably, because I can use that across the board. As far as the weather sealing, it's probably about the same as the 63, 6500, but yeah, it pretty much works the same. Now you do get the new menu that's on the 6500, but there are a lot of changes. I also want to do a guide on what those changes are, how I would actually set up this camera. So if you are getting this camera, I'm going to do a guide where you can follow me and I'll tell you what each thing is. I don't know what everything is, but I'll tell you the things that I do know and how I set them up and why, and just kind of leave it at that. The IAF works awesome, the touch tracking works awesome. I really like the features, and vlogging with this thing is awesome too. So I will definitely have some footage out from this. Now, back to the reason why. Why did I get this camera? So if you've been watching this channel, you know I have an A7 III here, an A7 III up there, and I also had an A7R II. Now my plan was to sell the R2, get an A6400, have some extra money, and grab a lens. So I did just that. Don't get me wrong, the R2 is a great camera, a high IQ, one of the best sensors out there. Image quality is like, I mean, there's hardly anything that could beat it that's not a medium format camera. It was a third camera, so it kind of sat in my bag. I tried to use it on a few portrait shoots. I took a few images with it, and I really didn't see the benefit for my personal usage versus what my A7 IIIs were giving me in the results. So I just said, you know, it's just gonna sit in my bag and collect dust unless I need a third angle for a video, which is the whole reason for buying it. I can use this for a third angle and in crop mode get that full 24 megapixels plus the 6K downsample that the R2 doesn't have. And then this will get a lot more usage because I can flip the screen up, pull this out the bag, and do a vlog or a sit down video shot talking head just like this when I'm traveling without having to bring my Atomos, because that's always, when I travel, I'm like, okay, I want to bring way too much shit. I want to bring this, I want to bring that. Do I want to bring the Atomos? Am I just going to use my phone, which is laggy? So again, this I think is going to get a lot more use than I think the R2 would have gotten, and the benefits of some of the new features may come in handy. I want to shoot a music video with this. I want to shoot a bunch of things and just give you examples of what this can do, because I know a lot of people are pushing this as a starter camera, and that's great. I'm not going to call it a starter camera. I'm going to call it a very good camera for starters, because it gives you that flip up screen. You don't have to have a bunch of stuff. You don't need a monitor. You just need a microphone, a tripod or something, and you can make videos with it. So that is great for starters, but this is by no means a slouch. This camera can take professional quality photos, professional quality video, and I'm willing to prove that to you. you by just shooting with it and giving you my examples. That's kind of my whole point of getting this camera. It's just a C camera, and again, I'd like to be able to just take this, my GorillaPod and my microphone when I travel, and just set that down on the table and talk to it. That way I can create more content. And I mean, it's not gonna give me the best quality without a bunch of lights and things like I have in here. Like, this is a whole setup that just stays here constantly, and I just sit down and I press record. What do you guys think about the A6400? I really wasn't sure that I would ever get this camera, but the flip up screen really made me curious, and it's really not that bad, and I have a solution. All right guys, so if you enjoyed this video of the A6400 unboxing and first impressions, please leave a comment down below if there are any questions you have or anything you want to see from the A6400. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, or any other content I put out about this camera or any other camera, or even kicks, music, etc., please hit the subscribe button or the notification bell if you're into that. That's a wrap. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed my video about the A6400 unboxing and first impressions, please leave a like down below. A like down below. I'll get back to you immediately. Hello?